Welcome to the Nutrition Template How-To Screencast. I'm Kyle Sutton with Iron Tribe Fitness. Hopefully you've had a chance to see the information from our nutrition seminar as well as the Iron Tribe Fuel Manual. This will give you a solid grasp of the 5 factors that are important for improving your diet and achieving your body composition goals. In this tutorial, we're going to explore a massing or cutting template from Renaissance Periodization. Of the template types that we offer, this is the more complex and nuanced offering. This template is individualized based on your current body weight, your goals of weight loss or weight gain, and can be further individualized to account for nutrient timing. It is the preferred choice for someone who has experience weighing and measuring food and more extensive meal planning experience. Let's dive into the template and the information provided. As you receive your template, it will be in a spreadsheet file. Once you open up the file, it will have multiple tabs at the top. Each tab offers something a little bit different, and we'll spend some time at each. But let's start with the tab labeled Base. In the upper left-hand corner, we'll see some basic directions about what is in this sheet. The directions indicate that there are multiple options to choose from each day based on whether or not you trained that day. The first option, shown here, is a non-weight training day. This is for any day you don't participate in an Iron Tribe workout or something additional outside of the gym. If you are simply going for a run or doing some active recovery work, you should be using the non-weight training day. The second option, which has many sub-options, is for a training day or tribe day. Underneath your training day options, there are 5 choices for how to structure your day. This is all based on the third most important factor for body composition, which is nutrient timing. If you work out first thing in the morning, you will choose the first option, first thing training. If you work out midday, you'll be choosing either training after 1 meal or training after 2 meals. Afternoon and evening athletes will travel even farther down the list. You'll notice that the macronutrients will adjust based on the time of day you're working out, with carbohydrate increasing around training times and fats decreasing. On the left-hand columns, you will see the frequency of your meals and some general guidelines for the timing of each. Because people can have significantly different schedules, the timing recommendations are structured around your wake-up time, workout times, and bedtime. Let's head back up and look at our food choices. In the rows just to the right of the Iron Tribe logo, you'll see a red column that shows your protein choices, the green column which shows your vegetable choices, and the brown column that shows healthy fat. The orange column shows your healthy carbs, typically those that have a lower glycemic index, and the blue column shows your workout carbs, which are those that have a higher glycemic index. This area will offer a slightly smaller selection than the health template. For example, in the health templates, you will find a wide selection of protein sources, including those for vegetarians, but some of these choices are not recommended in the cutting and massing templates. You may be wondering about the carryover of macronutrients between food. For example, some carbohydrate sources contain protein, and most proteins contain fat. Don't worry, your template has adjusted for those crossover nutrients in your recommendations below. This is one of the reasons that lean protein sources and specific carbohydrate and fat choices have made the approved list. Let's venture down to the specific quantity recommendations for your food. You'll notice that on non-training days, your meals are fairly evenly distributed throughout the day. This approach is taking a 4 meals per day structure with a smaller snack before bed. Because the cutting and massing templates put more emphasis on nutrient timing than the health templates, you will start to see more variation in the quantities of each macronutrient throughout the day, especially on training days. As we discussed in the nutrition seminar and in the fuel manual, protein will be spread out very evenly throughout the day. However, the type of protein is now much more important, and you see protein in the form of whey and casein. These are chosen specifically for their digestion rate at certain times of the day. For your protein, you'll notice that supplemental style protein like whey and casein are given in grams, but your lean protein sources are given in ounces. This recommendation is for uncooked protein sources, not cooked. A good rule of thumb is that cooked protein sources are typically only 2/3 of the weight of uncooked sources. So if it is asking for 6 ounces of any lean protein source, you're probably looking at 4 ounces of cooked chicken or steak. Underneath your protein food choices, you will find a handy conversion for ounces of lean meat to grams of protein. Moving to the right, we see that our vegetable recommendations are less precise and just require a general measurement of a small handful. This is less exact because vegetables are less calorically dense than the other food choices and are less likely to take you out of caloric or macronutrient balance. As we move farther to the right, we come to the column for fat. Fat is recommended in serving sizes, of which one serving equals 15 grams of fat. You'll notice that this food choice box is the smallest. This goes back to the emphasis on food composition, the fourth most important factor in the hierarchy of nutrition. These sources will make sure that your fat balance is dialed in and you're not eating too much saturated, polyunsaturated, or trans fats. The next column represents healthy carbs. One thing to note with the actual recommended amounts is that 30 grams is not simply measuring 30 grams of rice or sweet potatoes. Food has water and other non-caloric components, so that needs to be taken into account, or you'll be significantly under-eating. These numbers can vary greatly between foods, so you'll be better served by reading your nutrition labels and using helpful apps that can give you more specific information about the macronutrient quantities in each choice. Apps like MyFitnessPal and Nutrients can give you very specific information as it relates to your food choices. The last column, in blue, represents the high glycemic carbohydrate sources. You will only see this recommended around your workout times. So as you start to plan your meals, it is simply following the recommendations for each column based on the time of day. Put all of the columns together and you have a balanced meal that is going to put you on track for success. As you move down through the training day options, remember that nothing is changing other than the quantities based on the time of day and if you're training that day. Now that we've seen how the base template works, let's explore some of the other tabs at the top of the screen. If you are new to your template, I highly suggest staying on base for at least 2 weeks to start. This will help get you accustomed to this style of eating and preparing your meals. Once you're ready to start getting serious about changing your body composition, it's time to move to Cut 1. You'll notice that the Cut 1 tab looks very similar to the base tab. You may even notice that protein, vegetables, and carbohydrates are about the same, as well as the nutrient timing. The biggest difference you'll see as you move into Cut 1 is the reduction in fat. Remember from the nutrition seminar, fat is a great caloric buffer in this program. If you want to lose weight, we need to reduce calories, and the best way to do this is by reducing our calorically dense fat quantity. Now that we are on Cut 1, how do we know when it's time to go to Cut 2? All we'll ask you to do is monitor the scale. If you are losing 1 to 2 pounds of body weight per week using Cut 1, stay put. However, if after some time you notice your weight has become stagnant, you can jump to Cut 2. Some people may need to make phase changes quickly, while others may find that staying on one phase is accomplishing their goals for longer. Give yourself a minimum of 2 weeks on each phase before you move to the more aggressive next phase. Also at the top, you will see tabs for Maintenance 1 and Maintenance 2 and New Base. Once you have achieved your goal, or have been performing a cut for 3 months, it's time to go into maintenance phase. Remember that periodization means aiming for better results on a more targeted goal, and after 3 months of cutting, you will probably start to sacrifice lean mass. Going into the maintenance phases and eventually setting a new base lets the body become used to a new normal. Do this for another 3 months, and then you can move on to another target goal, which may be another cut or perhaps a mass gain phase if you're looking to add muscle. If you're unsure of when to move on to the next phase, please ask your coach. They can help guide you to the appropriate tab and provide insight on when to transition. Moving back to the left, you'll find a tab that shows common serving sizes. If you're not someone who wants to use your scale to measure exact amounts, or if you don't want to use an app to search for every food, this is the most general way to know how much food you're taking in. They give helpful real-world examples for the appropriate size comparisons for food quantity. A word of caution though, if you're using this approach and the scale is indicating that you're gaining weight or losing weight too quickly, chances are you're not being specific enough and need to dial in your food quantities. A more exacting approach may be beneficial in this situation. One more tab to the left and you'll find some quick tips for using the template. These will be helpful to review if you are having any issues with your template. Now that you have seen how to use the massing or cutting templates, it's time for you to get started preparing to execute the system. The instructions for how much to eat are there, but the template can only take you this far. Now it's up to you to plan your meals, get organized, and execute. If you're having any trouble, the first place you should go is to your coach. They can help you fill in any knowledge gaps to get you back on track or provide helpful tips for execution. Another outstanding resource is social media. We are going to have a Facebook page with a great network of people who have been using the templates and can provide support, and I'm sure your gym community can help as well. There's really only one thing to do now. Get started. You are probably going to make mistakes the first couple of weeks. You'll have days that you don't execute the system well, or you under or overeat. Don't let this discourage you. Each day is a new opportunity to follow the structure provided and succeed toward your goals. Work hard on this, as it's the foundation for your fitness and body composition results. Good luck.